You banned Coaches. Did you just have the one EP? Like, did you have another one planned, or like was that the be all kind of thing? I listened to it over the weekend. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I got a standout too if you want to hear. Yeah. I liked Weight of the World a lot. That one was my favorite. Yeah, I made a note.
It's fun to play, to be fair, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so obviously, like, we had all these songs, and I think in total, at the minute, in terms of Coaches, we've got, like, 20, 25 songs altogether.
Yeah.
We made an EP, like, demo EP.
Yeah.
It was, like, the pandemic tapes, we called it. And why not? But, yeah, like, we put, like, 4 or 5 tracks on there, and they were just garage band tracks. Like, I mixed them the best I could. I think it was on SoundCloud. You can like master tracks for premium.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that'll do. So like, we picked the ones we wanted to do. I mixed them really quick on GarageBand. Like headphones in, headphones off, headphones out. Go in the car, play it. Yeah, that sounds alright. Come back in and like listen to that way. And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. SoundCloud, and then you like play all the options. It was like cool, like bright and stuff. Like they give you 4 options, and you can do the sensitivity of it or something. And I was like messing around with that, and then send it to everyone. Oh, send it to Jake. I was like, how's this sound? And he was like, yeah, cool. I was like, cool, no worries.
Did they actually sound alright from being mastered from SoundCloud?
They sounded fine. I think I've still got on my phone. They're on our SoundCloud, but I think they're private.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was the original track of Dreamers, which sounds quite similar to me. There's not much difference on it. It's Control Us, which we didn't record, which I wish we recorded, because that's the favourite track, well, my favourite track that we've done. I think Weight the World was on it, Dreamers, and we had 5 altogether. Control Us was the only one that we didn't do. And so we put that out, and then we want to record this. We just sort of saved up, went to the studio in EVI, recorded the 4 tracks, and then put it out, and it sounded really good. And we was like, right, we'll gig everywhere with this now. We'll do everything. We didn't. We did though go with This Feeling, the promoter, and I think we played 3 gigs in Cardiff. We did an album release show in Abergavenny, and sold that out. It was a tiny pub, but that was quite nice.
That's still cool though, considering that's like your first
release. It was free entry, but the band is named after the pub, the Coach and Horses. So we was like, we got to do the album show there. So we did that, and we played all our songs, a few covers. We did another show in the Labour Club down there, but I think that was free as well. That was quite nice to sort out, because it's the first gig I've ever put on myself, completely single-handed. And got all the venue. I was like, if we do a show, we'll bring everything, all the gear, we'll do everything, but we do free entry. You don't pay us, and you just take everything on the bar. Can we do that? And they was like, yeah, absolutely. And we wouldn't bother about getting paid or not for it. We just wanted to play a show to people, really. And I think we had 80, 90 people there, and that was quite nice.
That's sick.
We had a band from Cardiff called Pacifica. They supported us. I know another local band, some guy from town as well, did an acoustic set. It was a really nice gig. And then we did the festival in Abergavenny. So it was a good time in the band, to be fair. We had to switch of members a few times. And then it just we cancelled the one gig in Cardiff. Quite last minute, to be fair, and that's it. It just sort of stopped. From there then.
How did you get involved with a promotion team like This Feeling? With did you gig before that one, or was it just you just did the EP and then was like, we're good to go?
We did the EP. Our first gig in front of people was the This Feeling gig. The first live show that we did in front of anyone or anything was in COVID. There was this scheme called Keep Wales Alive, and it was in, I have no idea what it was, somewhere.
That's my favorite place.
I love it. I love somewhere. But we went there, and they had this TV studio setup thing, 4 bands. There was 5 bands they asked to play. Come different times of the day. You couldn't go in the same time as another band because of COVID and all this. But yeah, it was cool because we went there, like set up, and then we had our own little green room. And the one guy kept coming in and was like, "Do you want tea? Do you want biscuits? Do you
That's
want this?
really
Do you want
cool.
this?
Yeah,
Do you want this? I'm going on the McDonald's one. Do anything?" And it's like,
That's wild. That would have gone to my head.
yeah.
5 Big Macs.
but we was all just like, we haven't played a show yet. And
yeah.
this guy's like bend over for us sort of thing, like.
Yeah.
But,
That's crazy.
yes, we did that, and that was cool. Like we had it like sent to us. We did 3 songs, and they're all like different camera angles, top different, like that was cool. But yeah, this feeling. So like Ratio Studios. That was it. And yeah, so like we. This feeling, yeah, I emailed them and just said, like, because I saw a lot of bands coming through them that I knew mutually through people, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And they like, I saw they had a stage in Isle of Wight festival, so I was like,
Sick.
oh, I want to play Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
So I emailed them saying, like, if you've got any gigs come in or anything, like, can you let us know and we'll play them? And they go back, I think it was like a month later or 2 months later, and it's like, oh, we're doing a show in Cardiff if you want to play it in the Moon. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, they just say to you, like, well, I think you get a basic pay rate of like £25, but if you sell over £25 worth of tickets, you gain more on top. It's something like that. I can't remember how that works. But they can either send you the tickets or they use Skiddle.
Right.
And people book on there, and then they send you an email every week then, like, you've sold 10 tickets, you sold 20 tickets.
Yeah.
And the first show we did was really good. Like, we sold like 40 tickets, took loads down, people stayed down, and it was a really good night.
Yeah.
Second show we did then was sort of like, there's no one here.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
And in fairness, there was like no one there, but we played with a band called Candid, who are like getting huge at the minute. And they were really nice. It's like a band from Coventry, but they're like selling out like little O2s in Birmingham.
Oh,
and they're doing really well for themselves now, and they're like really nice boys. And yeah, like, so we did that, and then the third time we cancelled on them. So they're definitely good to go through for exposure, because if they can see you pull in, they'll be like, okay, we'll move you out of your local zone, and you can play a gig in London, or you can play a gig in Birmingham. And then if you see the pull there, they'll be like, all right, we'll put you on one of our festival slots. Yeah. And then like they've got their own festival in Burnham-on-Sea or something, I think it is, and they do have like 20 bands there. Like, they're good to work with, but at the same time, it's sort of like, am I wasting my time with it? Because like, if you're not getting the pull sometimes, or they're a bit demanding, to be fair. They're like, you need to sell more tickets. Yeah. You need to get more people here. And like, they keep bothering me with emails. But if you want gigs, like, it's quite an easy way to get a gig. Yeah. But it's you and like 5 in the band, so it's not pressure on you, it's pressure on everyone. So you can sort of guarantee a crowd, but how big, you will have no idea. Really.
Yeah, I haven't worked with that many promoters, and the ones I have worked with have been terrible. Yeah. like real. I want, like, I don't want to name them and like blast them and stuff, but there were 2 that I worked with down London way, and I only, well, actually there were 3. So there was one big-ish one that were also promoting stuff that they were doing, like Isle of Wight festival stuff. That's the only, like, I think I signed up for them through there. Like, they had a website sign up, and I just wanted to get in that competition and be like, well, can get us in. And then like whoever like worked for them like was emailing me being like, we got like a list of gigs available, like, which one do you want? So I was like, oh, I go for that one. And then they were like, well, how many people can you guarantee can come?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's the one.
I don't know. I'm like, it's like a 3-hour drive, you know. I can't, my missus, maybe a friend, I don't know.
It's a 3-hour drive that I don't want to drive to, so no one else is going to drive to it. Like.
Anyway, after that, it shut down. They were like, whatever then. Yeah. And they let us crack. Even though the guy was like, oh, we'll try and get you like acoustic gigs or something first and like build up a kind of fan base there, and then move from there. And I was like, all right, sounds cool. And then I never heard back off him. I had like phone calls with him and stuff as well. And then I had like another gig down London that was like sorted out separately from all of that stuff. But whilst it was such a weird timing, whilst I was down there, I had another phone call from another promotion company in London. And they were like, oh, we saw you were on this other website, see that you're playing in London. Like, do you want to do a gig for us? And I was, because at the time I was like, oh, London's where you got to be, like, that's what you got to do for the gigs and stuff. So I was Camden. Like,
Camden's a place.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, like, we'll do it, let's go. And And like, I think we set up like a gig for like 3-4 weeks or something. We were sorting something out. And they were like, all right, to play this, like, you don't need to sell X amount of tickets, but if you don't, then that might change like the date of when you can play or like the lineup and stuff. So I was like, basically, it's a pay to play thing. If you don't sell them, you're not
like
playing.
Under all the layers. Like.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I really want to play it. So me, Kevin, and Sam lied and sent them our own money, and we were like, oh yeah, here's like, because they would send us like 10 tickets. Like 10 tickets every, I think it was longer than 3-4 weeks. It was a couple months. So they would send us like 10 tickets every like month or something, or maybe 30 tickets, and we're like, sell these. And we were like, yeah, sold them all, send them our money. And I think at the end of it, we ended up sending them like 90 quid of our own money just to play this gig, like, because we just wanted to do it. And we got down there, and it was so awkward because like there was a guy on the door with like a list of like names and stuff, and he was like, right, so who's your guest list? And I brought my partner with me, Sean, and I brought our friend Chad, and he was like, anyone else come in? And we were like, don't know. Like,
hopefully.
Yeah. But I remember like one of the phone calls I had with the woman arranging it, I explained everything to her, and I was like, look, we're from like South Wales. Asking people to drive 2 or 3 hours is like a lot, especially when like we still play here. So like, it's like, I don't think it's going to happen. And they were like, she was like, don't worry, I'm sure you'll sort it out. It'll be fine. And that was when we started sending them our own money.
Yeah.
But I think we basically played to like the other bands that were there, because they were like, there was 4 other bands playing, I think. And it was such a hassle and waste of time. They wouldn't even let us use our own amps because they had stuff on the stage, but the stage was like, they had like these really crappy practice amps that they mic'd up, and they were like, you got to use that. There's no room for anything else. So I was like, all right, fine. And so we did that gig. Nothing came from it apart from then another promoter in London got in touch with me, and this is when like I just gave up with them completely because I can't remember like the company's name. I just remember his name was John. And same thing, he'd email me like a list of gigs available. And we did one in this place called Cargo, because I was like, that place looks banging. It looked really, really cool. So same thing with it. I emailed him this time around. I was like, look, if this is a pay to play thing, I don't want to do it, because I was burned out from the last one. So I was like, if you're expecting us to sell X amount of tickets, like, we're just not going to do it. Yeah. So he came back and he was like, nah, don't worry, we don't do that stuff here. And I was like, okay, fine. And then like a week before the gig, he goes, oh, how many people are you bringing down? And I was like, I've already told you, like, I'll bring down like my partner and like a friend or something. But I was like, I can't like bring anyone else down. So he was like, all right, fine. And we did the gig, and like empty room. There was no organization when we got there. Like we got to the place, and as cool as it was I think it's shut down now, but as cool as the place was inside, there was no one there like organizing it. Yeah. So like there was like 3 or 4 other bands there that were just going up and playing like whenever. There was no like set times or anything. They were just like like one band would end, and then like we'd like look around, and then another one would be like, well, we'll go up. So we ended up being like the last ones to play at like 10 p.m. Yeah. The only people that stuck in that room was the singer, his girlfriend, and like another member of their band from the last band that played. We played to like 3 people. And it was so dumb because the way the venue was laid out was like it was like a nightclubby type place, but then they had like this back room that was this huge, like really not huge, but this really, really cool like live music segment. But the way they sectioned it off was by a curtain. So you could still hear every single band that were playing in like the bar area. But like if you wanted to get past the curtain, they were like, it's tenor. And we're like, no one's going to go. We literally saw people, right, stick their heads through the curtains and then go back. And they're like, well, obviously they're not going to come in. It's a tenor to walk here when they could stand there and listen to it all.
It's like a toll booth for a border. Like, it's like if you want to come in, you have to pay money.
Honestly, man, it was that after that, I was completely burned out and done with any promoter in London.
I think I say the best is a way to put it. The best venue I've ever played in is the Duke in Neath.
I've played there.
You played the Duke?
I played there. What a weird venue.
So
Such a mad place.
We turned up, right? And we were driving there and it was like, I can't find this place. And
Yeah, because there's no sign.
Weird corner for it. It's like on a bend, right?
Yeah.
So we pulled up, went in, and I was like, "Ooh, smells a bit funny in here."
Yeah,
Floor's like the stickiest thing in the world, right? Went to, and it's the dark, everything's painted black for some reason, right? It's black and dark wood and the stickiest floors in the world. And it's just one guy at the bar and he's like, "You right?" I was like, yeah, we played a gig and he load in. He's like, "Bring her in, yeah, come on." So I looked at the stage just like, I don't know, a foot off the floor or something, right? And I was like, great. And then we pulled out the everything in, set the kit up and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, we got a house kit, don't worry." And I was like, "Oh yeah, if it saves me, check it out." And he called this like ancient, I think it's older than the dinosaurs, out from under the stage. And I was like, cool, okay.
Yeah.
And all like it's like missing lugs.
Yeah.
And like the feet just won't stay on the floor and stuff. You're like, terrible.
That's so mad. Like, I almost had the exact same story with like the introduction to this place because it's got no sign outside. You don't know where you're going into. So we walked in thinking it was the place. Same thing. All the lights were off. There was one person behind the bar and one woman like mopping the floor. And we were kind of like, so, like, "Oh, excuse me, like, is it a gig here tonight?" And she was like, yeah. And that was it. And we were like, all right. So we just gotta like put our stuff by the stage and waited for like the other bands to show up that we were playing it with, and then they came through the door and we were like, we don't know what's going on, but it's kind of creepy. That place has one of my favorite videos of us playing live. We played Dancing With Myself, but the Blink cover of the Billy Idol song. There's not a real guitar solo in it. It's a part that goes... I was playing that, right? Some guy, long hair, drunk out of his mind, comes into frame on the video and he's just air guitar in the air and like his tongue is out and stuff. He is completely gone. It's one of my favorite videos.
I just remember going in and we was like setting everything up and we was like, right, we need mics. And this guy walked in, right? The sound engineer walked in. I was just thinking, like, oh, we're going to have a decent sound engineer. He looked like Einstein. This guy come in, right? He was like short, stumpy, like grey beard and like slick back. Slick back. And we was like, great. And he was like, yeah, I gave you some mics now, boys. He was stoned out of his mind.
Yeah,
right?
The place stunk a weed last time I was there too.
I went in the toilet seat is in half. I'm like, all right. I remember like, he's like, oh, the box of the mic's under. I was like, right, no worries. So I got this mic. I look under, and it must be like that thick of dust under there. And I'm like, that box is like older than anything. Like, it may as well be made out of wood. Like, I remember plugging it in. I was thinking, I haven't burnt down yet. If the dust is going to catch fire more than anything else. Yeah,
the Neath is a real weird place. The one thing I did find really cool about it though is like, the Duke. It's almost like a relic from like a bygone era of live music because it's one of the rare places where they still got like stickers everywhere.
It's the sort of thing. If you've been in a band in South Wales, you've played the Duke. That's that sort of place. Like,
it's a fascinating place. I've never been there since that first gig.
I'd play there again if I had the choice. I'm like, yes. I'd want to pack the Duke out because I think it would break the place. I think that many people breathe in would bring the roof down. Like, they got a pool table at the back, right? Like, I remember like we went there and like we were all like 16, 17, so we only had like Pepsis and Cokes and stuff. Because even though it's the Duke, they still wouldn't serve us drink, right?
Yeah.
Fair play to them for their licensing laws, right? But we went there, we was like stood in the pool room, and I just looked up, and like where they've had a leak, and they've got like a polystyrene roof. It just dipped, and I was like,
any minute,
I dare you to press that. It's like getting a drumstick tapping it, like it's got to come through now. It's just the weirdest place in the world, and I would absolutely play there again.
I think some of the best gigs that we ever played, honestly, we're all in like Swansea. Yeah. Swansea's got a real cool like. Oh, I was really confused then. Swansea's got a real cool like live music scene still to this day, and even the venues they have are real cool. I've
been to gigs in Swansea, like I've been to Sin City a load.
Yeah, and that's the one place I've never played, but like I've tried.
I've been Bunkhouse.
Same place with that, yeah.
But yeah, no, I've never played down there. I've played Cardiff. I've done Newport, Bristol.
Yeah.
Abergavenny.
Yeah.
I think that's it mainly. I played a lot in those places. But that's the only place I've played.
Yeah, I think Swansea is probably the place we were at the most, I think. And like we didn't play bunkhouse or anything, but like we went to, I don't know if you went there. There's a place there called Crowley's Rock Bar.
Yes.
Another really strange looking venue. Like you got to go up these real narrow upstairs to get there.
Yeah.
But like, and it'll be dead when you first get there. And then for some reason it hits like 10 p.m. and like this huge crowd of people will come in every single time. It's the weirdest thing. I've never experienced it anywhere else. But like, and they'll always be up for anything. Any song you play, like they just love it. I love Crowley's. But I think the coolest place we played in Swansea was Hangar 18.
Hangar 18.
What a venue. Such a cool venue. That was the first time we had like a green room and stuff.
Yeah.
Because usually like you just get ready in front of the stage. Like you put your stuff there.
Yeah.
But Hangar 18, like they got like these big flights of stairs and stuff, and they got a big green room, and it was such a cool place and like a real cool gig.
I think like in terms of like coolest places, I think the Fleece in Bristol was pretty sick.
I've heard of that place. I've never been.
Yeah, so it's like really old. So like we go to the city centre, and if you go in like sort of out, if you know where Brewdog is in Bristol, it's over that bridge, straight down the road and turn right. That's essentially how I know to get there.
Yeah.
And so it's really old. It's been there ages, but like inside there's just pillars everywhere.
Yeah.
So like literally it'd be like a meter, and there's a pillar, then there's a pillar, then there's a pillar. And it's such a cool venue. It's only like 300 capacity.
Yeah.
And we played there, but it was when I was in that first band I was on about, and they just sort of, they'd done this thing where they'd get 5 bands, similar to this feeling, but it's not a promoter. It's more of a showcase for bands.
Yeah.
And you can't sell tickets, but they do get a crowd in. But we went there and we had the green room upstairs, and you walk upstairs, there's posters of it. Like Muse have played there, and these have played there, and like everyone has played the Fleece. So that was quite cool.
Because then you feel like you're on like the same road. Then you're like, they've played you. Yeah, I get you.
I'm gonna be headlining this now.
Yeah,
and then but. No, it's such a good venue, mate. Like I said, I've never played Swansea. Cardiff I played, but the Fleece was amazing, to be fair.
I've only ever played one place in Bristol, and I really don't remember the name of it. I remember the gig being really weird because like the first band that were on were like a family band, but it was like the dad and the mother were singers, and like their kids were playing the instruments and stuff, and we're like, this is weird. Like we've never seen this before.
Some sort of fever dream.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. But like that was like they started off everything, so that was weird enough. And then I remember, I think we played, and because there wasn't that much space there anyway, after we played, we took our stuff. We were like, well, let's chuck it back in the cars. Yeah. We'll come back down to like watch the last band that were playing. And we got back down there, and they'd locked the doors. We couldn't get back in. So I had a message on Facebook, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, we wanted to stay, but we're locked outside. Like, we can't get back in.
Sorry, mate. No, you're done now.
Yeah.
Once you leave, that's it.
Yeah, no they must have just watched as soon as we walked out. Lock the doors. We can't let no Welsh people back in.
Get them out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first and only time I've ever played there. But I mean, I'll play Bristol again. I'll do the Fleece. We'll do the Fleece.
Mate, the Fleece. If we can get a gig in the Fleece, it is amazing. Same with
we'll do it.
What is it? The place like Club Overback is amazing.
Yeah, same with that. I've never played that either.
I played. Like I said, Hand Off Quite All was the downstairs, and I did like this drumming showcase thing, which I done through. It wasn't quite a gig. It was just sort of. We learned to play one song with this one person, learn how to do live things. There's quite a lot of people there, to be fair. And that was the upstairs bit, which was really good. But there's so many venues I want to play. Like there's Coco in London. I'd love to play there. The Great Hall in Cardiff is one of them. I think I've seen so many bands there. I want to play it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you get those dreams, especially when you go to the venues. They're like, I could do this.
It's like Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff.
Yeah,
like, there's the O2. Yeah. I don't care about the O2. I've been to Motorpoint and seen so many bands. I want to play there.
Yeah, no, I get that. Especially when like, if I'm gonna go see a band or something. If it's like at an O2 Academy and Institute, like Motorpoint or something, I'll always like. I'll watch the opening band. Like they're the ones I watch the most, and I'm like, I could do this. Like this, I could be the opener.
I have seen some support bands being like, I can do that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some support bands I've seen, I'm like, nah. I remember seeing Fall Out Boy in Cardiff, and I think it was like Matt and Kate supported or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
It was just like half hour of torture. I was like, are they playing or are they just hitting each other with drumsticks and guitars? It was just the two of them just jumping around the stage. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I get that. That just... I think it mostly comes from any time I just watch anybody play. Like, anytime there's a gig, I'm just like... I could do that now. Like,
but then I get the same thing where it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not enjoying this. It's not for me, but they've done it. They've got there. Like they're doing this. And I'm not you know. But yeah.
I mean, sometimes you get really lucky, and there'll be an opening band that you're like, oh shit, like where have they been like all my life?
So many, mate. So many. So like this Hot Mulligan, Arm's Length, I found through supporting. Moose Blood was another one I found through supporting.
Yeah.
There's so many bands that I've been like. Seen them on a lineup announced, so I'll give them a listen, and then I look forward more to them than I do the headliner sometimes.
Yeah, there was the most recent one for me was me and my partner Sean went to see it's a group, but it's one guy called I Don't Know How, and like his opening act was this band called Balancing Act, and I was like, I have no idea who they are. And they came on, and you know, I think it always takes me a song or two to warm up to an opening band because already I'm annoyed that it's not me. So already I'm against them. Yeah. So it takes me like a song or two to warm up. But they were class. They were like really, really good. So much so that like we're gonna go see them again in October.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I've never listened to them live. I've heard of them.
They're really, really cool.
Pop up on stuff sometimes. Yeah, I see them.
They're really, really cool. They do some real cool stuff with the guitar that like it just sounds. I like weird sounding things, so like they'll do some weird stuff with like pedal work or like the guitar sounds haunting on a few songs, even though it's like a love song or something. It just sounds. This sounds cool, and they're the ones that get me in. There's like two songs of theirs that I really love. One is Cheshire Smile, and the other one is Before I Shoot. Those are the two that I'm like, you want to listen to those. Yeah. That's like a good introduction.